All right, a little bit of a combo day today. Took Monday as a staff to really evaluate what we're doing, who we're using out there, and just kind of put our thoughts together and share that with the players. You know, here's where we're at with our schemes. Here's what's working for us. Here's what's not working for us, and things we have to improve on. So a little bit of a combo day, started off that way, and then launched into the Dolphins and getting ready from a game plan standpoint to play these guys as they come in here. So. You know, it was really good. Just I thought really productive meetings all across the board. You know, just kind of showing the honest, clear picture of this is what we can look like doing things well. This is what we can look like when we don't execute and we give up big plays or different plays like that. So I thought it was really good. I thought the coordinators did an excellent job of painting a picture. And the bottom line is we have to give them something tangible to work towards, to work on, so that we can continue to improve our processes.
If you can share,
yeah,
you talked about what you gathered and landed on. What did you guys land on in terms of those meetings and where did you go?
I won't get into specifics of that. I think that's a little bit of a proprietary advantage for us to continue to work on the things. But there's good stuff, you know, and there's pockets of big plays on the defense, on special teams in a couple of phases offensively. The lack of big plays, right, and trying to find a way to find explosives through the run game or the pass game. So those are some of the general things, you know. And then there's just a lot of details, a lot of communicating together and execution, you know, that we're counting on to carry over, and it's got to be consistent, you know, because there are these in each game. There are drives where we're executing, we're talking, we're making the things happen, and then there's mistakes being made, and certainly, you know, myself included, you know, in that in different phases of the games, you know, different decisions and all that on plays to call. All of us just making sure we're taking accountability for the things that we can improve on.
You indicated Monday that Chuba was not limited during the game due to the calf. Has he had a setback there, or what's the deal?
Yeah, we're the calf needs more treatment. The calf needs more time, and so we're just taking it day to day with Chuba now. And you know, we needed to get him a rest day today, not put him out there, and try to get him back on the other side of it. You know, he was able to play and still played at a high level the way that we expect him to play, and ran the ball hard all the way through it. And so, but you know, coming out of it, we just didn't feel like he was in a really good. He wasn't in a better spot coming out of the game than he was the week before. So we're going to treat that day to day.
You guys released DJ Johnson. Can you tell us about the process behind making that decision?
Hard decision. DJ gave me everything he had. I wish him the best. I believe that he's going to be able to help somebody. And for us, you know, just looking at our depth and looking for guys to produce, this is a production game, and that was one of the decisions that we had to make.
With regard to kind of what Mike was saying earlier, do you feel that some of the issues have arisen because of trying to overcompensate at times, and if so, what have you worked on specifically this week to address that?
Just execution, just guys being on the same page, working together. This is the fundamentals of football that we're talking about, and I think the most encouraging thing for me is as you watch the film, as we present it to our players, there are things within our control, and we have to make sure that we demand that, and the players have to make sure that we're following that execution through. As I alluded to before, you know, 2 really good weeks of practice where there was a lot of good communication growth, but we got to see it consistently happen.
Follow up on Vashti's question about DJ. He'd been with you guys for a while.
Yeah.
To make the decision now, why was now the right time?
I just look at all of the things. We had a lot of time to evaluate what we were doing and who we could possibly use in different roles, and we just felt like this was the appropriate time.
During that evaluation you had on Monday and Tuesday, what, if anything, changed in your opinion about Bryce and how he's played in the first 4 games?
I've seen a lot of confidence, a lot of confident play. I believe that this is a group that's continuing to try to find chemistry. Of course, beyond T-Mac, who we've seen be a viable target for him, and then some other guys kind of flashed for us in different ways. But finding that rhythm, finding that chemistry is really critical, and it starts in practice and just making sure we're continuing to throw the right concepts, put the guys in position to be successful in routes that they can really execute, you know. And this week is a little bit different now because we're getting Xavier back, and you know, Jimmy Horn's getting ready to play, you know. But we've gotten to see Bryson Tremaine in a certain role, so just continuing to find ways, you know, to see how we can use Bryson as well.
Dave, talking about Jimmy Horn,
Yeah.
would it be more special team specific, especially with David Moore going on IR?
No, this is an offensive emphasis for Jimmy. This is the reason he's here. This developmental part of knowing that these opportunities come up, and this isn't the way that we would all love to see this happen with Demo getting injured. But opportunities come in a bunch of different ways, and here we are. And I'm excited for Jimmy to get out there. I'm excited for what he can bring to us.
Would you expect him to also play in a return role as well?
Maybe.
When you look at Jimmy from when he first arrived to now, what parts of his game do you feel like he's worked on most? Where has he improved?
Yeah, just ownership of our concepts. When I know Jimmy is confident about what's happening, you see the speed and ability really show up. And that's what's happened in the last 2 weeks as he's continuing to get himself ready, because you just never know. And here we are. And he's done the work. He's working really hard. It's all hands on deck. He's into it. He's excited about it.
You assessed those 4 games.
Yeah.
And looked at your play calling. Did you see any opportunities to maybe be more aggressive, especially where Bryce is concerned in the passing game?
Could be, yeah. I definitely think there were some spots. I believe we've come out and thrown the ball more than we have in the past, and given our guys opportunities down the field, we haven't come up with big plays, whether it was a missed throw, a drop pass, miscommunication, just little things like that we have to continue to drill in on. So I think that those opportunities will still come up, but that was a big thing, Joe. That was a big one that we looked at in the first 4 games. How can we get the ball down the field with the guys we're playing with right now?
This might be more of an EJ question, but from an inside linebacker standpoint, it seems like there are weekly struggles. What's your perspective on that unit, and is there like a fix there?
Urgency. The time is now. We have 4 games under our belt with different packages, playing against different styles of offenses, and that's the production, and that's the urgency that's being communicated is, guys, we need better play here, in different spots. And there's good stuff too. And I saw Trevin Wallace, 2 weeks ago play his best game as a pro, and then he was inconsistent last week. And just getting him to settle in there and be big and fast like we know he is, Christian Roseboom, who we're counting on to call the defense and be in there, let's talk, let's execute. And so, yeah, there's a lot of urgency communicated to those guys, and they're up for the challenge.
In the 2 games that you had Xavier on the field and the 2 games he wasn't on the field, what did you see, even though he wasn't necessarily producing, how did you see him affecting the defense?
I think guys are aware of Xavier and how fast he is and how big he is, and they're trying to attack that. They're trying to get their hands on him early so he can't build up his speed, and that's a part that he's got to continue to work through. I saw improvement going into the Arizona game. I saw him play faster. The nature of that game, the targets that went to him, I thought was just kind of a misfortunate deal. And Will Johnson makes a great play on a one-on-one go ball in the end zone, and he had good position on him. And I'm just waiting for that one play where I can see him smile and just make a play, just get the weight off of you. You're just out here to play football. Just do your part. So I'm excited for the work he's put in and excited to see him this week.
I'm sorry, the defensive attention maybe for the 2 games that he was not in, how did you see that shifting and sort of the impact that he had?
I wouldn't say noticeable. There were some things that teams tried to do a little bit for T-Mac, but not out of the ordinary. This wasn't a full sell, let's stop this guy thing, which is why he's able to still produce for us. But we are looking for the other guys. I've talked about this before in the past game. You love to have a starting point. You love to say, we're trying to get the ball to this person because it does set up all the other stuff. It does open up other guys and their opportunities in one-on-one, whether it's in zone or whether it's in man. So these are the opportunities for guys to show us what they can do and really make plays when they're getting lighter coverages.
Bryce Christensen, what is it about
Yeah.
him that makes you so comfortable putting him in different places?
He's really tough. He's very intelligent. He's willing. He wants to win. He wants to help the team in any way possible. We use him as a big tight end. We've played him at center, at guard, the tackle spots, all those things, and we can count on him because he studies. He does the work, and he's ready to go, and I love his willingness to just help the team in whatever way possible.
I understand that you can't share specifics about
Sure.
what you and your coaches discuss, but when it comes to communicating to the team, outside of execution, was there one central message that you imparted to them based on the meetings that you had with the staff?
Yeah, just minimizing the catastrophic plays. We know teams are going to make plays. We know that turnovers happen, but the nature of how they happen, that's the part that we really have to hone in on. We can sit up here, and if we execute properly and a guy makes a great play one-on-one, that's the NFL. There's a lot of great players in the NFL, but it's when we when we give up free things, when we have turnovers, or we give up explosive plays because of lack of communication or different things like that, or if I call a play at the wrong time and it doesn't fit the coverage or whatever, and they have us, or the pressure or different things like that. In the special teams as well, right? The big returns, right? We're in position. We have to be able to minimize those big plays because that shift happens. And when they do, we have to be resilient enough to just refocus and go out there and execute the next series, understanding that this is the NFL and teams are going to find ways to make plays. Can we stay consistent? Can we stay steady and just return to focus?
How much
He was saying
Yeah.
the other day that he's lost a key weapon in Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
But he was saying that coaches don't really like to address the injury situation because it's like that next man up mentality.
Yeah.
But it does have an impact on every aspect of the game. What has been your experience, even including this year, that when you have that many injuries, it has on I guess, just your play in general?
We know that it has an effect. I can't think that way, and the players cannot think that way. We trust these guys to execute, that go out there. I get excited for the opportunity to find out new information about a player we may not have seen a lot when they get in there. We get to know them more. We get to know how they can help the team. And so I always look at it from a positive standpoint of this is an opportunity to come in and help the team. We are aware and we do acknowledge the fact that those are challenges that all of the teams go through across the league, really. So that also doesn't allow you to have an excuse because we all experience it. And so we have to just go back to football.
Doesn't it also speak to depth in general, that when you have really good depth, you can put another guy in there and keep that effort up?
That's a very valuable thing, and we were really fortunate to have Chandler Zavala step in, and he's had a setback with an injury, but we were fortunate in that way to be able to have him step in there.
How much did the elevation of DJ Dallas and Trevian Thomas come out of your guys' evaluation of how special teams did last week, given their experience in special teams?
It was really injury related. So, with Chuba, just not knowing if we're going to have him or not, going day to day with him, I thought it was really important that we start to see DJ Dallas. He's a guy that I really trust as well. This was an opportunity for me to reward a guy who's been working his butt off in practice. He's been running all the scout team running back deal. He's been excellent in protection in that role as well. He's doing all the special teams he can cover. He can play different spots. He can return. So I just thought a really valuable guy who really stands for what we're about here in terms of just being a team player and being a high effort guy. And Trevian Thomas, another guy that's done a lot of good things for us just, throughout this season, really on practice squad, showing that he can be available for special teams as well. And also just seeing if we can get an opportunity to see him at defense at some point.
Tyreek being out, how does that, without giving away the game plan of it, but how does it change defensively? I imagine he would probably normally be a focal point of your defense and try and slow him down. How does it change what you're allowed to do defensively?
Well, we all certainly know what a great player he is, but I respect this system and I respect Mike McDaniels in the way that he attacks defenses, and he's still good. They still have a lot of fast players that they're going to try to challenge us with horizontally and vertically. So we have to take the same approach. They're not going to just change their offense all of a sudden in 1 week. This is going to be a real attack that has a lot of variety with movements, shifts, motions, different run styles, different ways to attack the perimeter. And so we have to just go look at the film and just basically be prepared for the schemes that they're going to present to us.
On
Last
my
question, please.
earlier question, you addressed the third down draw on Monday.
Yeah.
You also had some second and shorts, which in this league, as you know, a lot of times are shot plays.
Mm-hmm.
And you handed the ball off or had short throws. Yeah. Were those the kind of opportunities you're talking about, maybe to do a little bit more of taking a shot downfield?
Could be. My philosophy is when you're in second and short, we run the ball. We want to find opportunities to be a tough physical football team. When we're in second and short, that's an opportunity to run the ball right there, get us a new set of downs. Does that present some explosive opportunities? Absolutely. But again, that's my philosophy. It's kind of in my DNA going back to being with Coach Carroll for all these years, is when we get into that mode, we want to be able to be tough. We want to be able to run downhill. We want to be able to do those things so that we can get a new set of downs and then open up the attack again.
What was the severity of the two injuries for David and Chandler? as far as how long they're going to be out? Was that with Chandler? He had a knee in
Yeah.
preseason? Was that the same injury, or was it just something different?
Yeah, it was the same injury, a little bit different nature. David had a significant elbow dislocation, and so that's going to take a longer time. So they both went to IR, just knowing that we needed to have more time to be able to get those guys back out there. All right, thank you.